Lawmakers are discussing a bill that could eliminate funding for transgender medical treatment. Hurricane Ian is leaving a path of destruction. Find out where it's headed. And one social media trend has gone too far. Find out the potential damages to children's health. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Roddy.
And I'm Carolynn Felling. We begin tonight with breaking news about Hurricane Ian. Just moments ago, the storm that had been downgraded to a tropical system was reclassified as a hurricane as it moves back over the open ocean. We are also beginning to get an understanding of the extent of the damage left in Florida during the wake of the Hurricane Ian. Agencies at every level are working to get assistance where it is needed. CNN's Mike Valerio has more on those efforts.
Everything's flooded. Everything is ruined.
As Floridians begin to survey the damage left in the wake of Hurricane Ian, the Federal Emergency Management Agency jumps into action.
We're focused right now on getting some search and rescue teams who have been out since 4 o'clock this morning to get into that area and identify who might need assistance.
FEMA, the U.S. Coast Guard, and other entities are working by land, air, and sea.
Coast Guard deployed 16 rescue helicopters, 6 fixed-wing aircraft, and 18 rescue boats and crews.
President Joe Biden promising the full support of the federal government after attending a briefing at FEMA headquarters.
We've dispatched over 1,000 FEMA personnel and pre-positioned major federal capacities and capabilities and supplies.
And approving a major disaster declaration for the state.
That means the federal government will cover 100% of the cost to clear debris and for all the costs that the state has to engage in and expend to save lives.
The declaration also makes federal aid available, including grants to help individuals and business owners in 9 counties recover from the effects of the disaster. Help desperately needed for the families displaced by Hurricane Ian.
We are preparing for the potential of thousands of families that are going to need assistance.
According to OKCPD,
and Hurricane Ian is on the move, leaving a trail of destruction.
And this morning, the Oklahoma City Police Department reported the death of an off-duty officer. Sergeant Megan Burke was driving north on I-44 when a southbound vehicle swerved, popping the guardrail and hitting the officer head-on. She was pronounced dead on the scene. She was 31 years old. According to OKCPD, the driver sustained no life-threatening injuries, and an investigation is underway. Now, Coy Taylor is here in the studio to give us more information on where the hurricane is headed.
Yes, that's right, ladies. We are tracking Ian at this hour, and currently here it is. Here it was at least 12 hours ago, and it's continuing to strengthen up to a Category 1. It was downgraded as it would be made landfall in Florida to a tropical storm. Now it's a Category 1 as it's in the open ocean waters of the eastern part of the Florida coast, or just off the eastern part of the Florida coast. In the Atlantic, you can see the thunderstorm activity firing up just north of that, and here over the next couple of days, we're expecting another landfall, secondary landfall in South Carolina near the Charleston area. So that's what we're going to be expecting over the next couple of days. Current temperatures here, though, we're in the 80s. It's feeling pleasant out there. 81 here in Norman. We're to 82 in Kingfisher, 84 Watauga. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Coy. Other states are gearing up for potential storms following Hurricane Ian, and President Joe Biden faces a new lawsuit. Mecca Thompson has that and the rest of today's national headlines from the News Center.
Carolyn, that's right. North Carolina is looking at new technology to help them prepare for any storms that come their way. With the National Hurricane Center and National Weather Service providing data support, the tech will help improve how they monitor local rivers and coastal levels. The maps show where roads are closed and which routes are open, and they warn where water covers a road not to take any chances. 6 states sued President Joe Biden today in an effort to block his student loan forgiveness plan. The lawsuit was filed by state attorney generals from Arkansas, Kansas, Nebraska, South Carolina, Missouri, and representatives from Iowa. While legal experts are skeptical that a challenge to Biden's plan will succeed, the argument is that the HEROES Act does not grant the president broad authority. And the U.S. Senate voted today to approve a short-term government funding extension that will prevent a shutdown from happening this week. The funding is currently on track to expire tomorrow, but the stopgap bill would extend it through December 16th. The bill was approved on a bipartisan basis with a vote of 72 to 25 and needs to be passed by the House before it can be sent to President Biden for his signature. Carolynn and Bella, architecture is really booming these days. Dubai could potentially be building a moon hotel to give residents an out-of-this-world stay.
Thanks, Mecca. With a hotel in space, I'll be sure to definitely book a room with a good view.
And you can find NyQuil in pretty much every household, but thanks to a new trend, it's being used in a way that most would never imagine. OU Nightly's Addie Crawford is live at the Sooner Pharmacy with the story. Addie?
Bella, Carolyn, I talked to pharmacists here at Sooner Pharmacy about the new Sleepy Chicken Challenge. They tell me that even though you can buy NyQuil over the counter at places just like this, that doesn't mean doing it for the Sleepy Chicken Challenge is safe.
I've done this in the past, and usually I use about, 4/3 of the bottle.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Somewhere in there, someone just wanted to be outrageous, and I'm sure probably the color plays into it as well.
5 to 30 minutes. Oh, sometimes the steam really makes you sleepy.
A viral social media trend targeting youth to cook chicken in NyQuil.
Maybe one of the dumb things that the kids do nowadays.
Price Jeffries, a high school senior, says talks of the challenge is making its way to Newcastle High School.
People in my 5th hour have been talking about it. They've been saying, how good of an idea it's been.
And when asked if he thinks his classmates would actually do it.
I don't know, honestly. Probably, if they had the chance to.
The FDA issued a warning about the dangers of this Sleepy Chicken Challenge, saying that boiling a medication can make it much more concentrated and cause high levels of drugs to enter the body. Now, if you try to search Sleepy Chicken into TikTok, this message pops up redirecting you to a resource page.
I think if it's over the counter, it's safe for me to use it however I want because I don't have to have a prescription for it, which is not the case.
A local pharmacist weighed in on the dangers of trying it out.
It gets concerning when we get into side effects because, for one thing, it could be interacting with other medications they're taking. If they're on other pain medications, they're currently taking those. It can kind of heighten those side effects and really kind of make for a dangerous cocktail there.
But not everyone is buying into it.
Or don't believe everything they see on the internet.
I would tell them, no, get that out of my face.
Levi from Sooner Pharmacy said not to hesitate to ask your local pharmacist any questions you may have when taking any medications in its intended use. Reporting live from Sooner Pharmacy, Addie Crawford, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Addie. Now with cold and flu season coming up, it may be time to consider getting boosted.
And find out how kids as young as 5 years old can receive their boosters in HealthBeat.
Plus, how you can benefit from free tutoring from fellow OU students, coming up next. Hurricane Ian is causing many to evacuate, including those who are hospitalized. Liv Walbeck has that and more in HealthBeat.
That's right. With Hurricane Ian pummeling Florida, many hospitals are at risk of flooding from the storm. The GeoHealth Journal says that nearly 700 hospitals within a 10-mile radius of the Atlantic and Gulf coasts could face high waters. 43 nursing homes in Southwest Florida have already evacuated 3,400 residents as facilities have begun to lose power. And beginning as early as October, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration may authorize boosters for younger age groups. Moderna sought authorization for kids starting at 6 years old, and Pfizer starting as young as 5 through 11 years old. The boosters target the original coronavirus strain in addition to the Omicron variants. And there may be hope for people living with Alzheimer's in the U.S. A new monoclonal antibody treatment has shown to slow the rate of cognitive decline by about 27%. Over the course of 18 months, of the 1,800 people who took part in the trial, all showed reduced symptoms. The research is still awaiting approval from the FDA. And if you're looking for something to celebrate with the ones you love, today is World Heart Day. The World Heart Federation is raising awareness for cardiovascular diseases in many ways, including a social media initiative and a Heart Day playlist on Spotify.
Thanks, Liv. I actually checked out the playlist, and it sure is full of heartfelt songs to put you in a good mood. And it might just be the thing you need to listen to while you are studying. OU Price College of Business is now offering a free tutoring service for its students. NAC is an online peer tutoring platform allowing students the help they need anytime at anywhere. Students receive help from their peers who have already passed the courses. With already 5 approved tutors and 217 registered students, faculty is excited to see how this service is going to grow, and it is expected to rise as enrollment around the midterms.
And one salon in Norman has found a way to help kids with sensory needs. Learn more about this local business coming up next.
And Coy Taylor is going to tell us more about why this drought is causing parts of Oklahoma to have fires.
Yes, we'll get to that here in Maine weather in a moment, but let's take a look at the allergy report. We have grass and tree pollen in the high category, ragweed, the real killer, a very high category, molds come down some. We'll have much more in the full forecast straight ahead. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Coy Taylor, and let's get a live look at temperatures across the metro right now. We're sitting pretty at 81 degrees here in Norman. It felt a little chilly out there compared to the last couple days. On my walk into the studio, 83 Watonga, Weatherford checking in at about 83 degrees. And as we take a statewide look at that 93 degrees out in the Panhandle up towards the Guyman area. 88 in Woodward. Hello, Enid. 81 to you, Tulsa. You're checking in at about 80 degrees. 79 down I-35 there in Ardmore. So temperature change, it is feeling a little cooler than it was yesterday, about 8 degrees cooler. We're running about 12 degrees cooler down in Ardmore, but out in the Panhandle, we are a little bit warmer than we were yesterday. So the fall foliage is starting at least across the northern plains in the northern part of the U.S. That's going to slowly make its way down, and when we expect drought across the area right now, and that could accelerate the fall foliage and shorten it as we go here over the next couple of weeks. But we're in bad drought region-wide across portions of Texas, New Mexico, even into portions of Kansas. Here in Oklahoma, we're under exceptional to extreme drought in most areas, if not severe drought. So it has been dry here over the last couple of weeks, and we're expecting that to continue. So counties have already enacted burn bans, mainly in eastern Oklahoma right now is where all the counties shaded in red here are under a burn ban, and even out towards Cimarron County there in the Panhandle. So be careful with outdoor burning here over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, the SPC has put us under an elevated fire risk out in the Panhandle. Those fire conditions, we're going to be dry tomorrow and sunny with a little bit of a wind. So that's going to be pretty much statewide. That area is just the highlight of concern. 82 by 5 p.m. We're to 78 by 7 p.m. 70 degrees after sunset there. Those southeast winds died down. We're expecting sunny skies and clear skies this evening. Lows for tonight, we fall down into the 40s and 50s statewide. 160 on the board down towards Guyman. We're to about 56 here in Norman and in eastern Oklahoma. Some of those valleys over there could be in the upper 40s. Highs for tomorrow, we're to 90 degrees in Guyman, 89 Woodward here in Norman, about 83 degrees. That's just a few degrees above normal. Sunny skies expected. Winds out of the southeast at around 5 miles per hour. And we're going to get you your 7-day forecast. So 55 to 85 officially for your Friday, 83 on Saturday for game day. Let's take a look at that game day forecast. As we go here, if you're headed to Ammon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth as Oklahoma Sooners are on the road against TCU. 65 for the tailgate, 73 for kickoff. We're to 81 by halftime. Sunshine expected. Winds probably not a factor in that ball game. Here's the rest of your 7-day forecast. 84 degrees for your Sunday. We continue with those 80s as we head into next week. Overnight low temperatures in the 50s and pretty much copy and paste weather, as I like to call it. Bella, Carolyn, back to you.
Thanks, Coy. We have some breaking news right now.
The The Oklahoma legislature has just passed a bill that will eliminate funding for transgender medical treatment at OU Children's Hospital. OU Nightly's Summer Miller is live at the state capitol with the story. Summer.
Guys, I'm here at the Oklahoma State Capitol, right outside the State House chamber, where they just passed a bill preventing funding toward gender-affirming healthcare for youth across the state of Oklahoma. I spoke with Nicole McAfee, the executive director of Freedom Oklahoma, an advocacy group for LGBTQ+ communities, who said that this decision is not only harmful for transgender youth, but for the entire LGBTQ+ community as a whole.
I saw so many nodding heads and heard lots of tears and sobs throughout their debate as they named what so many of our community members are feeling and what we don't get to say on the record because there isn't testimony in the Oklahoma legislature.
This means that federally funded money through the American Rescue Act will not go toward medical treatment at university hospitals for gender-affirming healthcare. The Senate passed this morning the bill. Now it just passed through the House. Next, it will be on Governor Stitt's desk for approval. Reporting live from the Oklahoma State Capitol, I'm Summer Miller, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Summer. We'll be right back with sports.
I'm Addison Arthur, and it's time for sports. OU football is looking to bounce back after their loss to Kansas State. The Sooners will face the TCU Horned Frogs in Fort Worth on Saturday. Oklahoma holds a 17-5 record against TCU. Offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby talks about the TCU squad and their physicality.
Obviously, first year of their system being put in there completely different than what they've been, but you can see on tape, man, total buy-in. Coach Gillespie's got them playing incredibly hard and tough and physical. They've created some turnovers with 4 picks, but a group that's disciplined, that's tough, that we're going to need to be at our best on Saturday morning.
Sooner wide receiver Drake Stoops has been named semifinalist for the William V. Campbell Trophy. This trophy is in its 33rd year and is awarded to the best football scholars in the nation. And Sooners men's basketball is gearing up for their season opener on November 7th. It's head coach Porter Moser's second year with the team, and he says having some familiar faces back has been key.
I think one of the biggest things as you move things forward is having guys back that know what you want, that know what your standards are. And Jalen, Jacob, and Tanner, CJ, and Bijan, those 5, having them back, having guys that have been through your program, I can't tell you how much that helped us this summer.
OU volleyball's undefeated start at home ended last night when the Rock Chalk Jayhawks came to Norman. Kansas swept the Sooners in all 3 sets. OU will be looking for their 11th win on Saturday against West Virginia. Oklahoma soccer is on fire and back at John Crate Field for the first time in 6 games. The Sooners will kick off a doubleheader this weekend against 2 Big 12 teams. Tonight they will welcome Iowa State at 7 p.m. and Texas Tech on Sunday at 1. And a former Sooner is getting some big recognition in the NFL this month. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts was named NFC Offensive Player of the Month after his stellar performances to start the season. Carolyn, Bella, back to you guys.
Thanks, Addison. We'll be right back with the final check on Hurricane Ian.
I'm Morgan Martin at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Gun manufacturer Smith & Wesson is being sued by survivors of the Chicago Independence Day shooting. The gun maker is accused of illegally targeting its ads towards young men who pose a risk of carrying out a mass shooting. Bella, Carolyn, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Morgan. And now we're going to get one last look at weather. Coy.
Yes, here's Hurricane Ian again. It's over the western Atlantic right now off the east coast of Florida, and it's going to be tracking up into South Carolina. You can see the cone here as a Category 1 hurricane right now. Wind speeds at 75 miles per hour sustained, 90 mile per hour gusts. But if you are headed out towards what would be TCU here over the weekend for the Sooners game, we're expecting temperatures in the 80s with plenty of sunshine. Bella, Carolyn, back to you.
Thanks, Coy, and thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Bella Roddy.
And I'm Carolyn Felling. Make sure to tune in Wednesdays at 4:30 live from Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma. Good night.
Good night.